a brave gnome with the keenest eye, a loyal shrub with the sharpest wit, and a merry tune carried on the wind. Milo and Gooseberry blazed the trails again. Milo Pierce, accompanied by his trusty awakened shrub companion, Gooseberry, the clever and daring trailblazer who leads the way for discovery and adventure in the uncharted wilderness. Return with us now to those thrilling journeys of yore. Milo and Gooseberry ride the trails once more.
The wildland stretched vast and quiet before Milo Pierce and Gooseberry. The grass swayed in a soft breeze, whispering secrets of travelers who had passed before them. Milo scanned the horizon with sharp eyes, and Gooseberry ambled beside him, ever watchful. The trail had been peaceful so far, but Milo knew that peace often meant trouble wasn't far behind. Raised voices reached them. Milo motioned for Gooseberry to follow as they moved closer, treading lightly. In a clearing, two men faced each other, weapons drawn, tension thick between them. One was burly with broad shoulders, his face hardened by years under the sun. He gripped a worn hand axe. The other, tall and lean with silver-threaded hair, held a spear steady in his hands. "You've got a lot of nerve showing your face here, Dracot," said the man with the axe, his voice rough. "Traitor to the plains, that's what you are." Dracot's eyes narrowed. "And you, Grimsby, are still clinging to old glory. The war is over, but you want to fight forever." Milo stepped into the clearing. "Pardon me, gentlemen," he said, his voice calm. "Mind telling me what all this fuss is about before someone gets hurt?" Both men turned, startled. Gooseberry rustled beside Milo, earning a brief moment of hesitation from the strangers. "Stay out of this, little man," Grimsby growled. "This is between me and him." "That's right," Dracot added, calmer. "It doesn't concern you." Milo planted his hands on his hips. "Normally, I'd agree. But seeing as I'm standing here, and you two seem ready to make the wildlands your battleground, I'd say it concerns me plenty." Grimsby sneered. "This man's a Messidor dog," he spat. "His kind burned our villages, slaughtered our kin, and left the Prairials with nothing but ash." Dracot's eyes held steady, but bitterness darkened his gaze. "And the Prairials took everything from us, enslaved our people, treated us like animals." Milo sighed. "I don't know much about your war, but from where I'm standing, I see two men who survived it. Isn't that enough?" "Not when this one's still breathing," Grimsby snapped. Both men poised to strike, but Milo stepped between them and raised his hands. "Hold it, fellas, hold it. How about this, give it a day. Cool off. If by sundown you still need to settle this with violence, I won't stop you." The men exchanged wary glances. Grimsby grunted. "Fine. Sundown it is." Dracot nodded. "Agreed." As they walked to opposite sides of the clearing, Milo let out a breath. Gooseberry rustled softly in approval. "We've got some work to do," Milo said. "Let's see if we can knock some sense into them before this turns ugly." The campfire crackled in the quiet night. Milo sat on a log, a tin mug of tea warming his hands. Gooseberry stood behind his gnome friend, but kept his distance from the fire. Around the camp, Grimsby and Dracot sat, the light flickering on their faces. Milo broke the silence. "You both know this can't end with one of you dead. Not here. Not tonight. There's no glory in it." Dracot snorted. "Easy for you to say, little gnome. You haven't lived this fight." "No, I haven't," Milo admitted. "But I've seen enough to know hatred gets you nowhere. Why don't we start with where it all began? Tell me about the war." Grimsby scowled but finally spoke. "It was summer Ford. We were outnumbered, pinned down by archers. My best friend, Callan, took a squad and hit the flank. Saved us all, but it cost him everything." Dracot stared into the fire. "Summer Ford," he echoed. "That was a massacre. I was there. The Messidors took my home and conscripted me. They told us it was just another skirmish. But it was slaughter. A Prairial soldier could have killed me, but he let me go. Told me to make it mean something." Milo's eyes moved between them. "Wait. Callan, he took the ridge to hold off the archers." Grimsby nodded. He saved us. Didn't make it back. Draycott's breath caught. That ridge, that's where I was. He let me go. Milo leaned forward. Callan spared you. He gave his life to save others and showed mercy. Are you both really going to throw that away? Grimsby's grip loosened on his spear. Callan always said he fought for more than winning battles. Maybe he saw something in you. Draycott stared at the fire. I thought I was just lucky. If it was him. The silence stretched until Grimsby stood abruptly, spear in hand. Callan might have spared you, but it doesn't change what happened. Your side took everything from me. Draycott rose, retrieving his axe. And yours took everything from me. Mercy or not, we're still enemies. Milo stepped between them. Enough. Callan saved you both, one with his life and the other with his mercy. Don't throw that away. Grimsby shook his head. This ends with the duel. Draycott nodded. Honor demands it. Milo sighed. Fine. But if we're doing this, we're doing it right. At dawn, on fair ground. And I'm going to make sure you remember what's at stake. The first rays of sunlight painted the wildlands as Milo and Gooseberry stood on a small rise overlooking the dueling ground. Grimsby braced his spear against a boulder, sharpening it. Draycott inspected his axe. You don't have to do this, Milo called. He stepped forward, his small figure dwarfed by the veterans. Grimsby glanced up, jaw tight. We've been over this. It's the only way. No, it's not, Milo said. You're about to shed blood over a war that's already taken too much. Look around, this isn't a battlefield. What good comes from more violence? Draycott stood, pacing. Honor demands we finish what our side started. Gooseberry raised a leafy branch, and vines twisted across the earth, forcing Grimsby and Draycott to pause. Your shrub's meddling, Grimsby grumbled. Milo seized the moment. You're not going anywhere until you hear me out. Last night, you shared your stories. Grimsby, your friend Callan spared Draycott's life. He held the line to protect you and let Draycott go. It wasn't luck. It was his choice. Draycott's face paled. I'm alive because of your friend. Milo nodded. Callan wanted something better than endless fighting. Are you going to throw that away? Grimsby's spear trembled. He fought so others wouldn't have to. And here I am, ready to undo it all. Draycott dropped his axe. I've carried guilt for years. Now I find out I owe my life to your friend. I can't repay that debt like this. The two men locked eyes. Grimsby slowly lowered his spear. Maybe Callan was right. Maybe it's time to let it go. Draycott nodded. Truce, then. Grimsby extended his hand. Truce. They shook hands, and Milo let out a sigh of relief. Gooseberry hummed a quiet tune, and Milo smiled. I'd say that's the first good decision you fellas have made since I met you. Grimsby chuckled. You're not wrong, little man. He slung his spear over his back. It's time I headed north. Good luck, Draycott. Draycott adjusted his pack. Same to you, Grimsby. They turned and walked away, their silhouettes shrinking on the horizon. Milo watched until they disappeared, then looked at Gooseberry. Old grudges weigh heavier than most realize, the shrub remarked. Milo nodded. Come on, Gooseberry. There's plenty more trails ahead. Together, they set off, the morning light casting long shadows behind them.
And so, Milo Pierce and his loyal shrub companion Gooseberry ride off once more, blazing trails and forging friendships across the uncharted wilderness. Until next time, keep your wits sharp, your mind open, and your heart true, and you just might hear the Scout's tune carried on the wind.